From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Reporting tonight from Berlin.
From the Berlin Wall specifically, take a look at them. They've been there since last night. They are here in the thousands. They are here in the tens of thousands. Occasionally they shout, Die Mauer muss weg, the wall must go. Thousands and thousands of West Germans come to make the point that the wall has suddenly become irrelevant. Something, as you can see, almost to party on. How do you measure such an astonishing moment in history?
It's been a long time coming, but tonight, because of what we did on this day, in this election, at this defining moment, change has come to America.
Family nearby, Trump telling the standing room only crowd he hopes to unite all Americans.
I say it is time for us to come together as one united people.
Globalization is a process of interaction and integration among people, companies, and governments of different nations. A process driven by international trade and investment and aided by information technology. This process has effects on the environment, on culture, on political systems, on economic development and prosperity, and on human physical well-being in societies around the world. Terrorism is a tactic used to achieve a specific end. This strategy is often used in power struggles when a weaker person or group is fighting against a powerful nation state. The violence is aimed at creating fear in the targeted population. Unipolarity is the distribution of power in which one state exercises most of a cultural, economic, and military influence. Unipolar systems possess only one great power and face no competition. If a competition emerges, the international system is no longer unipolar. The digital age is a historic period in the 21st century characterized by the shift from traditional industry to an economic based on information technology. The definition of what digital means continues to change over time as new technologies, user devices, methods of interaction with other humans and devices enter the domain of research. The most important causes of globalization has the three major components of international market integration: trade, multinational production, and international finance. The information technology revolution has made it very difficult for governments to control cross-border capital movements, even if they have political incentives to do so. Governments can still restrict the multinationalization of production, but they have increasingly chosen to liberalize because of the macroeconomic benefits. Terrorism is not a 21st century phenomenon, and it has its roots in early resistance on political movements. The use of terrorism to further a political cause has accelerated in recent years. Modern terrorism largely came into being after the Second World War with the rise of nationalist movements in the old empires of the European powers. The ability of these groups to mobilize sympathy and support outside the narrow confines of their actual theaters of operation. Bipolarity denotes the fundamental power structure in an international system dominated by two large powers, and is characterized by antagonism between these. This power sharing functioned well for 40 years, until other powers came into play and tried to dominate politics. The superpowers supported different sides of conflicts during the Cold War, especially in Africa and Asia, which often were the battlegrounds for rivalry between the two blocs. The Cold War ended after the Soviet economy had stagnated following their participation in the arms race with the USA, and also as a result of declining oil prices in the 80s. A later A later attempt to introduce a market economy failed. The power of the Communist Party was undermined. Its European countries declared independence, and finally, the world saw the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. When the Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev resigned in 1991, it marked the end of the bipolar era in the world politics. The Internet is the decisive technology of the information age, and with the explosion of wireless communication in the early 21st century, we can say that humankind is now almost entirely connected. Media often reports that intense use of the Internet increases the risk of isolation, alienation, and withdrawal from society, but available evidence shows that the Internet neither isolates people nor reduces their sociability. It actually increases sociability, civic engagement, and the intensity of family and friendship relationships in all cultures.